All right, welcome to Giving Black Women Their Flowers. This installment of Diderot is an exciting one because my honoree today is none other than my mother, Kia M. We're going to get into all about her in just a bit. But before we do, I want my mother to talk about what a day is like in her life, just so you understand who she is as a writer, a Gia, a new LA resident, all those things. So let us have it. What's it like being being you?
Can you tell? Look at all this. So, a day in the life of Kia M. Author is exhilarating. I wake up with energy and creativity on my mind. I love being around the grandbabies, and y'all know I will talk down about those grandbabies because they are my inspiration. So, first thing in the morning, a sis got to smell good because when you smell good, you think good. I think my creativity is a whole lot better when I smell good. I smell fresh like Mother Nature when you smell flowers. And then, of course, there's the preparation of getting in front of the computer. I never forget to pray. I always pray to God because He's the one that blessed me with the gift. So I always say, God, I'm going to give back to you what you've given to me. I am intentional. That's something I always say. So I'm intentional about what I do first when I get ready to write. There's always a method to the madness.
Mm.
So if I've gone through something, if I've experienced something, if something made me happy, I want to talk about that first. So I jot down notes. I may have my phone. If you see me with my phone, I'm not talking to people more than likely. I am creating. So I'm putting notes in my phone. I'm going back to that to pull out some of the things that, maybe I said I was going to write about and I didn't have a chance to touch on it. And then there's the element of eating. Everyone says you have to have nutrition in your body. So I am intentional on that. Of course, you all are on making sure that I eat and that I'm healthy in that process.
Good. We
So
stay on
for
top
me,
of
it's
it.
the eating, the head and heart is clear, everything is aligning. And then I
Yeah.
just go from there. I take off running.
Yeah, and I admire that you're talking about the exhilaration and the
Right.
joy you get out of what you do. And we know that a lot of people are not in careers where they find fulfillment. You come from Generation X, and a lot of people are in jobs where they're just making ends meet. So, what can you tell us about some of the things you've noticed being someone who's a creative, if you will, or in a different type of work environment where you really have to determine your own schedule, and it may not be what everyone is used to because you're older starting out on a new career path.
Okay, so with that question, and it is loaded like a baked potato.
Right, right. Take whatever you will from that.
Ah, okay, so being in the generation I'm in, first off, we are taught to work, 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 and then enjoy life. And then some of us never really get to enjoy life because we work so long, all we want to do is rest or catch up on sleep.
Mm.
But 2018 taught me that life is going to happen and take place whether or not you are a part of it. So I want to be a part of it. And the way I decided I would do that is go back to my first love. I always say this when you are in your gift, when you are in that space of true like purpose,
Yeah.
it never really feels like work, first off. So I have to be careful because I'm creating. And because I'm creating and it doesn't feel like work, I'm constantly doing it. It's a 24-hour love. It's a 24-hour love.
Okay.
But because of the mindset and how it's looked at with work, I have truly said, okay, carve out time with family, carve out time with those things that you really truly enjoy, carve out time. And what I mean when I say carve, I mean take a big, if you have to visually see it, take a knife and put it around you and say, now where can I fit myself in these places?
I love
Because
the
I still
metaphor.
want to enjoy
Yeah.
other things while I'm creating. And I know that a lot of our older generation, they really don't see that. It's like it's unimaginable to really have a life where what you do you love, you truly take in all of its majesty, it's magical, it's I like to also think sometimes I say pinch me, the
Yeah.
unreal effect of how right now, even in this zone on a Sunday. I'm having an interview with the Diderot editor, but then I'm
Okay.
also saying, as an author, as a writer, when I get through, I can take the liberty to write if I choose. My schedule is my own. And when you work for someone else, again, talking about our generation, um, it becomes a humdrum. It becomes a just the naturalness of Monday, 8 o'clock, ring the bell, walk in the office, sit at the desk, type, file, fax. I
Monotonous,
mean,
it sounds
those
very monotonous.
become normalcy. And before you know it, that's really all you're doing. You're laying down, you're getting up, you're clocking in, you're sitting at the desk, you're walking out. And have you ever noticed commercials or anything that shows our society working? It's all in the same pace. We're all walking in the same pace. We're all looking at the same thing, walking forward, going to the same, it's like the same car, putting in the key. So it's so robotic. Me, it's so out loud, it's so free, it's so in
Yeah.
color, it's so different. There's nothing
Yeah.
about my day that's the same.
You're leading me into the next question, actually, because you're talking about how you're different and you're not a part of the humdrum, how you're a
Yes.
trailblazer, essentially. You like to do things that are outside of the norm. How has that affected your relationships? You can talk about family, you could talk about romantically, even with your friends, because you are so not like what we are used to, maybe from your generation, from your community, however you want to respond to that, whatever angle.
So when you said the R word romantically, did you see me light up?
I mean, listen,
Well, relationships can be tricky depending on who you're in them with. And I am always intentional about my relationships because that's my space. And so if you're going to be a part of my space, that means at some point throughout my day, my life, my month, my year, we're going to share that space, whether on the phone, in an email correspondence,
yeah,
text. So for me, especially with what I do, I include, for instance, like Levi, because he shares my space, but I write about him. And then there's Sage. So he's now like Brother Brunch. And there's another element of how I choose to spend my time with my grandbabies. But then there's you, and there's Art,
yeah,
who's my son in law. That's a totally different type of relationship because that's daughter and that's son in law. And so there's conversations that we have where we not only talk about personal, um, exploits, but there's also the business side. So we're think
right.
tanking. You guys always help me to be better in those spaces because where I may be very old school and traditional with some things, y'all are like, but mom, we don't do that no more. And don't nobody say that. And you got to be careful because this is, political or more socially incorrect. And then when we say romance, oh, honey, and I say this all the time. I love love. Say it again. Love. I love love. I love what love does to a person who has hope that one day, everything they've asked for and dreamed will actually come true. And so I am on this journey, if you will, of not only just the nomadic journey, because we've been saying that. So our
Yeah,
nomadic
we
journey
are
is teaching us about relationships because we
certainly.
run into so many different people at so many different times. It really reminds me, first of all, to be human, to be compassionate, to be in the space with the person, to stay present. And so there is a certain someone I like to call my suitor.
Okay. All
Yes,
right.
indeed, BW, shout out. And he gives me this lightness. There's this air about him that is so centering for me. I mean, I said I got joy from writing.
Yeah.
But the text messaging that goes back and forth, it's like a whole different element. And it actually helps with my creativity. Because
Okay.
what I really realize with relationships, your relationships can either shake or shift you.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to be shifted because when you're shifted, it says there's just a little bit of something that moves you along, like an ebb and a flow. And I
Yes.
don't want my relationships to shake me. Have you ever been in California when there's an earthquake and your house shakes or something shakes from the table? Anything on the table that's not secure, it's gonna fall over. Don't
Yeah.
shake me in my
Right. It
relationship.
makes it
Just
uneasy.
shift me. Yeah, move me along
Right,
a little bit.
right. And I love how you talked about how imperative your relationships are at either
Yeah.
shaking or shifting, because you're going to start your own mentorship for young women called Sages Rebirth. And there are a lot of things along your journey that you've learned that you want to impart upon these young women. And when it comes to relationships, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, a young mother, a teenage mother, proudly, I'm a proud product of a teenage mother. What's one thing along that journey that you want to share with young women now, kind of looking back? I know you have several nuggets, but if you could give
Drop
me
fries and drinks.
one,
That's
okay?
what I say.
What can the Sage Rebirth young women expect, or what's, sort of one piece of advice you have for all the things you've experienced and what you're going through now?
Well, first off, let's say Sage Rebirth. Rebirth is born again, like a do-over, a start over. I also think about biblically, loosely being born again and having a chance to just say, okay, this didn't work out, or this didn't actually go as well as I would have liked, but I actually really have a chance to do it again. So in my mind, and in a perfect world, at 17 to get pregnant, to have a child at 18, then to have another child at 20, I always felt like I missed out on things. I missed out on things. I missed out on college and the experience. And I missed out on maybe having a family unit that says there's mom, there's father, and children. And so for young ladies, Sage Rebirth says it doesn't matter what you've gone through. It doesn't matter about your past. It doesn't matter about the mistakes. It doesn't matter about things that didn't quite work out well. You're not perfect. We are so flawed in so many ways, but it's to work through your flaws, work through your imperfections. Like, understand that no matter what takes place in this world, you are your only you. Like, there is nobody else like a you. Fingerprints are personable to you. Like, your DNA is personable to you.
Love it.
I even think and go this far, and I sat in this thought for a while. When people need to be identified, they identify you by what? Your teeth. They actually go and say, let's get her dental records. There's nobody else out there
Right,
with your
right.
dental
That is
records.
very
You
specific.
are so unique in this world. Like, God's so cold-blooded. I tell people all the time, that's my G. He's so cold-blooded with it that if I put my hand on a wall or a mirror and it falls up and you go behind me and you do it, people will say, yeah, there have been several people touching this mirror, but they will actually point out individually who actually last touched that mirror, which is an imprint, something that's lasting. I want
You
Sage
need to
Rebirth
remember
to
that.
say to any young woman, I want to leave a mark on this world. I want my name to mean something to somebody. I want to
Yeah.
be able to say to some young girl, listen, sis, okay, so you didn't get that high school diploma, or you didn't get that college degree, or maybe you did, but now you don't know what to do with it. You didn't get the job that you were wanting to land, maybe the internship you wanted to walk into, the fellowship, and somebody else got it, and you feel like I was the baddest and I should have. But pick yourself up. Some people say put on your big girl panties. I don't want big girl panties. I want lace or none at all. And so my thing is, when you walk into a room, I want people to know that's a Sage Rebirth woman, a Sage
That's
Rebirth
it.
girl, a Sage
That's it.
Rebirth lady, and know that you're showing up to show out. That's
That's
how
it.
I want them to see it.
That's it. And you heard it here from Kia M. Listen, we're gonna wrap up. There's so much more from her coming. I
Yes,
want
ma'am.
her to end in 15 seconds or less, rapid fire. We're ending on this note. What's next for Kia M? What should we be on the lookout for? Let's manifest this thing.
Let's
All right.
manifest. So the manifestation is my own memoir.
All right.
I'm
That's
not
coming.
dead. I want you to see this live and in color.
That's
Read
coming.
about me while I'm living, so
All
you can
right.
actually come and ask me the questions. Horse's
All
mouth.
right.
I have a couple of parenting books that I want to put out.
Yes. Oh,
There's
some
also
talk show
going to
host
be,
stuff.
that's
Okay.
it. I'm
We're
talking about
doing some
marriage.
speaking.
I'm talking about relationships. You all know that with He, She, Us Live,
Yes.
intimate conversations, that's going to be
Podcast.
bigger, growing. Exactly. The podcast with my Desiree, who, Rue, my
Listen,
lovely co-host,
a lot
and
going. Got some
that's going to
shout
take
outs
off by
going.
itself, right?
Yes,
Because I'm
yes.
marrying all these things. Sometimes people don't really understand and see what it is you're doing because it looks so sporadic. It just looks like it's chaos and it's everywhere.
But it
But
all
I
comes
promise
together.
you, it's all working together for the good, and it is all coming together.
Yes, it is. And on that note, we send you love. We send you greetings,
Yeah.
kisses, hugs. Join us next time. Bye.
Bye.